When you search perimenopause on YouTube or Google, you get fear, symptoms, decline, what's wrong with you, and I just do not accept that story. Because what if this phase isn't a downfall at all, not a crisis? What if it's a power chapter, a rare window where most of the people we love are still here? We have less fucks to give than ever before, and we finally have the courage to ask for what we actually want. That is why I am recording this little perimenopause series, a reframe that will hopefully make this whole season feel lighter and more powerful and more yours. Welcome to my channel, where we are keeping death close to live more fully. My name is Dr. Johanna Kennedy, and I'm a birth doula, hospice volunteer, and mother of 3. I'm doing this because I think we urgently need a new story about women in their 40s. So here's what I noticed. When you type perimenopause into YouTube or Google, you get a wall of negativity, lists of symptoms and ailments and pain, the stubborn belly fat, the decline, like your body is becoming a problem you have to manage. And yes, of course, symptoms are real. Of course, many of us suffer. I'm not minimizing that at all. But if that is the only story we tell, then midlife starts to feel like a slow goodbye. And that drives me nuts. Because when I look around me, this is not what I see. When I look at the mothers in their late 30s and their 40s and 50s, I don't see women collapsing into old age. I see women rising. I see women waking up. I see women coming out of a phase where so much of their time and energy went into pregnancy and birth and breastfeeding, little kids, logistics, and basically survival. And now something starts to emerge. By the way, if you hear little foot taps in the background, that is our cute guest dog who's like walking around my living room. In our 20s and 30s, many of us are constantly building. We are supposed to find the career, the partner, the city, and the parenting style that suits us. We are checking boxes, sometimes consciously and sometimes not even noticing that we are following a script. And then in our 40s, we have lived life for a while. We have a much better idea of what we are capable of. We know how much our hearts can expand. We know what truly matters. And we especially know that we can do hard things. So when perimenopause arrives, I do not only see hormones shifting, I see something deeper shifting. I see standards shifting. I see priorities shifting. I see truth becoming louder. And rightly so, because I really think that 40 is midlife. And I know that it makes a lot of people uncomfortable when I say that, but I do not mean it in a depressing way. I really mean it in a clarifying way. Because if we're lucky, maybe we will live to 80, maybe even to 90, but 80 is already a good age, and not everybody gets there. So if we are around 40, there is a real chance that we really are in the middle already. And for me, that is not scary. That is actually motivating, because it means that there is no time to waste, none. The other day, I had a weird experience, and I didn't know if I should laugh or cry. I had asked AI to generate an image of a group of women in their 40s going for a walk in the forest. I wanted to use it for an ad for my women's circle. But what AI gave me was basically a picture of women who looked more like they were in their 60s or 70s. And I thought, wow, culturally, we don't even know what midlife looks like anymore. It doesn't exist. You are either young or you are old. We treat it like the beginning of the end. And I really want to change that story, because midlife is not the end. Even old age is not the end, right? But midlife for sure is a powerful zone. If we are lucky, Our parents are still alive. Our kids are here. Most of the people we love are still around us. It is so precious. It is demanding, yes, but it is precious. And we do not celebrate this season nearly enough. It is so liberating to enter this new chapter. I've noticed this change in myself over the last couple of years. I'm more willing to say no than I've ever been before. At 40, I blocked someone on WhatsApp for the very first time in my whole life. It was someone connected to my family, and she wanted me to take her side in a conflict. She was insulting my dad, and she wanted me to be her emotional dumping ground. And what was so striking is that this was a familiar pattern for me. The old me would have listened. The old me would have tried to be polite and patient and available because I didn't know how to have boundaries without feeling guilty. But something in me was done. There was a shift. I told her calmly and respectfully that I'm no longer available for this. And when she didn't stop, I blocked her. And I remember the feeling after. It was so new to me. It was freeing. It was amazing. It didn't come from a place of spite. I did not mean her any harm whatsoever. It was simply honest. I had no capacity or willingness to waste even more energy on this. And I felt so much gratitude because I realized that I can finally detach from situations that drain me, especially when they do not benefit anyone. Another very practical shift I noticed within me happened around a year later at 41, when I finally got my doctor to take my sleep difficulties seriously. I had been brushed off before. 2 doctors basically told me, "You have 3 kids and 2 jobs, what do you expect? Of course you have sleep problems." And I remember thinking, yes, my life is full, but that is not a diagnosis. So I kept advocating for myself until I found a medical provider who was willing to look at my symptoms through the lens of perimenopause. She prescribed bioidentical progesterone, and I've been sleeping through the night ever since. This is not medical advice. This is just my experience. Please talk to your own clinician. But what matters here is this: I did not accept being dismissed anymore. I stayed with myself. I see myself growing in so many areas. I see myself rewriting my story, and I see the same things happen for so many women around me, and it makes my heart sing. So many things I used to believe about myself were narratives, not facts. I'm a people pleaser. That does not have to be my identity forever. Or I'm not good with money is not a permanent truth. And I think many women in midlife are exactly in that place. We have surprised ourselves too many times to keep living by old labels. And that is why I do not hear decline when I think of women in their 40s. I hear power and capacity and a deeper kind of knowing. So let me give you the actual reframe in 3 shifts. Shift number 1 is moving from pleasing to prioritizing. Midlife raises your standards because your time matters. You stop being available for everything. You stop automatically smoothing everything. You start noticing what costs you. And what I love about this is that it can look very quiet on the outside. Sometimes it's not a dramatic no. Sometimes it's just you not explaining yourself anymore. It's you simply saying, that doesn't work for me. It's you renegotiating roles at home. It's you choosing yourself without turning it into a moral debate. Perimenopause doesn't make you more selfish. It makes you more honest and more clear. Shift number 2 is moving from pushing harder to supporting more. So many of us, especially high-achieving women, have a default mode of push harder, try harder, optimize more, be stricter, be tougher. And in midlife, that model often starts to backfire because your body is not asking for more force. It's asking for more support. Support looks like basics: sleep protection, strength training, nourishing food, nervous system downshifts, sunlight, and recovery. Not as a perfect lifestyle, just as little experiments, changing your system. This is the season where supporting systems beat willpower every time. And shift number 3 is moving from someday to now. This is why my channel is called Keeping Death Close, Living More Fully. Not as a dark obsession, but as a source of clarity. Because midlife is a moment where you realize that time is real. You realize someday is not guaranteed. And you do not want to wake up 10 years from now and realize you spent your precious life waiting for signs, for someone else's permission before you started living. So perimenopause is the perfect moment for you to stop postponing your own life. Not because you panic, but because you finally respect your time. Let me give you a tiny action that you can do today. Keep it super small and simple. Just finish these 3 sentences for yourself. In this season, I want to stop doing X. In this season, I want to continue doing X. And in this season, I want to start doing X. That's it. No massive reinvention, just a little intentional anchor. This was episode number 1 of my Perimenopause Reframe series. You will find all the videos in this playlist. In episode 2, we're going to get very practical and talk about energy leaks, the invisible places where your energy disappears and how you plug the biggest one first. And if you are craving a place to do life with other women in the same season, I just opened the No Regrets Women's Circle. You will find the link to join in the description below. January to March is our body and health season. We share our stories, our goals, and supporting systems. I would absolutely love to have you there. If this episode spoke to you, you are exactly who I made it for. May you have a wonderful day, and may you sprinkle some magic dust on the world around you.